Imani Radio na TV inakukaribisha kwa kongamano la siku moja Jumatano hii tarehe 28 mwezi huu katika ukumbi wa Imani Radio kuanzia saa 3 asubuhi. Wanenaji watakuwa Bishop Joab Okango kutoka Nairobi na Zephaniah Badilia kutoka kule Netherlands. Mada kuu ya kongamano ni nafasi ya kanisa sasa. Chakula cha mchana kitakuwepo. Nyote makaribishwa, tujifunze pamoja. Imani Radio.
Now welcome back to the Sunrise, and today on a Business Monday we have the pleasure to host Benson Osino, and we are also excited to delve into the world of online business and discover some important information from Benson. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you, Jedida.
How have you been?
I've been well. Yeah, the weekend has been good.
All right. Now to just start off, can you provide to our listeners with an overview of the current landscape of online businesses?
First of all, online business, or rather e-commerce, is whereby you can be able to market your goods and services using the digital platform, so that you can be able to reach a wide coverage.
Yeah.
You can be able to reach your networks and be able to at least to get a return, or rather to grow your business.
Yeah.
It's one of the current best methods of selling, or rather marketing, because the Y generation that we are dealing with, the YOLO generation, does not have time to go and maybe do shopping. So they can be able to use their phones, they can be able to use their whatever means, so that they can be able to acquire what they want to acquire. And also it also gives a consumer a wide network, or other coverage, so that you can be able to get that good or service that is been looking for. Yes.
And what are some of the trends, and opportunities that any entrepreneur who is looking into getting into online business needs to be aware of?
Number one, before you get into the online business, one thing you must be able to understand is that you must be able to be technology savvy. You are supposed to be aware of it. Then the second thing, you are also supposed to understand your target market, the people you want to sell your goods or services to. You are supposed to understand them, your coverage. Then the third thing you are also supposed to know, the risks involved. And one of the risks involved, we have got the risk of cybersecurity, the risk of where I can market my product, but how do I get paid? Those are some of the know-hows that you are supposed to understand before you get into the business, online business.
For sure. And that is very informative. When you are aware of such, it becomes easier for you to maneuver around in this space. And many people are always attracted to the idea of starting an online business, and due to this flexibility and potential for scalability. So in your experience, what are some of the key factors that contribute to a very successful online business?
Number one, one of the things that contribute to a successful online business is creativity. You are supposed to be creative. You are supposed to be creative. Then the second thing that contributes to successful online business, you are also supposed to know your customers. Give very good customer service, maybe after delivery. Then the way you communicate your products, the way you market them, the way you brand them on the social platform also matters a lot.
Yeah.
So those are just a few factors that contribute to a successful online business marketing.
And what are these characteristics or skills that entrepreneurs should have in order for them to hold a successful business based on, those things that you have already mentioned there?
The skills, as I've just said, you're supposed to be aware of technology. And also, when you're getting into this business, also understand that one of the risks is we have got fraudsters in this business. You can be able to market your goods, and then be able, you fail to be paid. You can be able to market your service. For example, let me give an example. Maybe you are a blogger. You can be able to market or you have a podcast. You can be able to market your business, maybe using somebody's website. Then you fail to be paid. So there are a number of things that elements that you need to look at before you venture into this business. But all said and done, is one of the lucrative businesses that are trending on currently. Yes.
All right. And with the rise of e-commerce and online marketplaces, how important is it for entrepreneurs to identify their target audiences and also establish a strong online presence? Because these businesses entirely depend on the people that you connect with on the online platforms.
What you're supposed to do is that you can even borrow somebody's website. We have got people, the people who have made a brand for themselves. You can be able to co-host. You can be able to co-host somebody's website, or you can be able to buy some space on somebody's website so that you can be able to use it. And also, we have got people who have got many followers. If I've got many followers, you can be able to approach me so that we can be in a collabo and be able to start this online game. And the more views, for example, maybe I want to start a podcast, or maybe I want to sell my service. Maybe I want to be an online blogger. If I want to succeed, I must be able to look for somebody who has got more following. I can be able to borrow somebody's website. I'll be able to use it. Even, let me give an example, even Facebook. There are many people who have got so much followers. The who's and who's in the society. You can be able to approach them and be able to use their brand, so that you can be able to market, you can be able to sell your service, or rather to market your brand. Yes. And
when you're talking about that, sometimes a lot of people get into business just because they identify, with the brand that you associate yourself with, and sometimes kuna hii notion ya marketing and the way it sells or not sells is always determined by your target audience. What do you have to say about that? Because sometimes people start up an online business, they reach out to these people, they try all these things, but sometimes it does not bear the fruit.
For you to market your product, one of the things that you must be able to understand, you must know your customer, the KYC. Know your customer. If you know your customer, you know your customer needs. You might be able, you are also supposed to know the market trends. You can maybe start maybe marketing, or rather trying to broadcast maybe a product, and that product maybe on the market, maybe you are supposed to do your research well, your homework well, before you venture into that business. And one of the things that you are always supposed to know is that you are supposed to also establish a means of payment. You can sell your product, as I said initially, and then you fail to be paid. Then you realize that you are running into losses. So the fundamental thing in this place is the customer. The customer is the center point. That's the person we are looking at. We are marketing this product, but we are looking at him. What does the market want? How is the market behaving? What is the behavioral habits of the customer? What is it that is trending now? And when you look at that, then you can be able to establish a strong brand, and you can be able to go far when it comes to the aspect of online business.
All right. And what when it comes to reaching the right customers in the digital space, what would you recommend for someone to build that brand that they want to for the online space?
It's called brand visibility. For you to make be able to build that brand, to have your brand visible, one of the things that you are supposed to consider is that you are supposed to do it over time. You are supposed to do it over time, and you can be able to incorporate other people whose brand are doing well. For example, you can be able to, there are people who are selling maybe through Amazon. There are people who are selling through eBay. So there are various platforms that people sell their products. You can start from maybe a brand that is going on, or a brand that has built a big name, and when you use that brand, or individuals or personalities who have built a big brand, then as you do that, you'll be making your brand also visible. And when you make your brand visible, with the time, you realize that you'll also have that bigger space. You'll create a bigger space into that platform, and you can be able to now to go it alone. You can delve into it, and with that, you realize that success is your part.
All right. And you know, when we are talking about success, it means that money is really coming in. And you know, one aspect of online business that can be daunting for many individuals is the financial aspect, such as managing the cash flow, budgeting, and making sound investment decision. What advice would you give for online entrepreneurs when it comes to financial planning and ensuring long-term sustainability?
When it comes to budgeting or other planning, one of the things is that every business person must have what you call a balance sheet, must be able to know what is coming in or what's going out. What are my spending habits? If you can be able to identify your spending habits and be able to work on them and be able to minimize the expenses, then you can be able to pump in more capital into a business, the online business. You can be able to create that bigger space. You can be able to incorporate into other brands, and when the money comes in, always know where to invest. There are various platforms where you can invest your money. And Jenny, I can tell you is that when it comes to online business, people are making money, people are rocking a lot of money. But when it comes now to investing that money, you know, you don't just have that fixed mindset that when this money comes, I want just to invest in this area. Diversify. Diversify your portfolio investing so that you can be able to have that great returns. And also avoid this aspect of impulse buying. Because I've made some little money, I want to buy the things that are not even necessary. So consider those factors, and when you consider them, you realize that over time you'll be able to grow as an individual or as a business or as an entrepreneur. Yes.
And you know, when you're talking about that, diversifying and following of the trends, sometimes it can be a little bit challenging. Pengine, you have invested in one thing, and before you even get, you know, those products to complete, now other trends are coming in. How can people maneuver that?
As I said initially, be creative. Don't just be the business person of yesterday, because the dynamics of the markets are changing. For example, I can give you a practical example. The way we used to market in 90s, the same way we are marketing now. The way we used to do business in the early 2000s, not the same way we are doing now. So become that dynamic business person who changes with times and seasons, who can be able to identify where an opportunity is and goes for it. Because everything in the world is changing. And you realize that the business people, or rather the mindset that is not ready to change, you realize that it will always go backwards. For example, there are companies that refuse to change, and when they refuse to change, they refuse to go with the times. And as we are speaking, they're no longer there. I can give you an example like this company. This company which used to be called Kodak. Kodak.
Yes.
Kodak was a company that even Nokia. Is it Nokia? Nokia, the Nokia is a company that refused to change. They used to employ they refused to employ the new technology. The new technology, the Android system, the Android version. They were sticking to the old system of Windows. So any business person in any digital, in any online space, whichever, is that you must be able to understand change. Change is the word. You must always be changing, and be able to understand what does the market need. What is it that I can do differently so that I can be able to beat competition. And if you can be able to consider those things, then your business will be able to thrive and go to great levels.
All right. And talking about that, in the market there's always competition that take place. Everybody is trying to change also. And sometimes you find yourself in a situation where everybody is doing the same thing over and over again. What do you think people can make the difference so that, as much as you're trying to embrace the change and the trends, it does not occur ni kama you are like copy-pasting whatever other people are doing, as much as you're trying to be creative and trying to merge with what is in the market?
human beings are made funny. Is that if I see my neighbor is doing what you call rearing chicks, I'll also go and start rearing chicks because I want to copy paste what he's doing. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Identify your area of potential. For example, maybe let me give an example like this: online digital content creators.
Yes.
Just be yourself. Identify your strong areas, and when you define your strong areas, try to grow on them. Try to grow on them. Just become unique, because the world is looking for people who are unique. The people who are different. People are not doing things the same way other people are doing it. That's what the world is looking for. But if you decide all of us to copy paste, then you realize that we'll have all the same products in the market. And when you have the same products in the market, the person who is benefiting is the consumer at the expense of the supplier. The person who is marketing the product.
Yes.
So those are some of the things we must consider as an online marketer, or whichever area you are specializing in. Those are the key things that you are supposed to consider. Be yourself. Just be yourself. That's what the world is looking at.
Wow, I think that is like the best advice ever, because you know, with the recent trends, everybody is just trying to be, you know, trying to be in the trend as well. And when that happens, sometimes we lose the point of the online business, and everybody starts getting bored. You know, when we move forward, online business are often, you know, require investment in various areas such as technology, marketing, and sometimes human resources. How can entrepreneurs determine the best allocation of resources and make informed investment decision in order to support the growth of their online ventures? In
this digital space, one thing that you must be able to embrace is technology. And when you embrace technology, then you realize that you'll be able to grow from one point to another point. So for you are supposed to allocate business money to the venture depending on the returns that comes from the venture. You can never invest so much into a platform, and if you look into the returns that are coming, they are so meager, they cannot sustain the business. So before you consider on the amount of capital you want to pump into the venture, one thing you must be able to understand: how much are the returns that I'm getting from this venture. You must do your homework well. You must be able to do maybe a balance sheet, an account. That's a business account. Your account, the loss account, the profit account. You're supposed to be able to look, is this business growing? Is it bringing more returns? And when you look at the returns higher, then you can employ in new technologies so that you can be able to grow the business.
All right. And you know, with the landscape, the business landscape, which is constantly evolving, how important is it for entrepreneurs to stay updated with the industry trends and also be able to adapt their strategies accordingly?
You can always keep yourself up to date by learning. Learning is a continuous process. And there's nobody, the moment you stop learning, that's the moment you start dying. So for any business person, is that whichever level you are in, maybe you are at a beginner level. When you are at beginner level, always aspire to learn. Aspire to learn new trends. Aspire to bring in spice it up, spice your business, spice your hustle, spice your online content by learning from the people who went before you. And when you learn from them, by reading articles, searching journals, and maybe going online yourself and be able to trying to look at what are the people who did this, what is it that they did better, what is the area that I can be able to add on so that I can be able to be different in the market. And if you continuously learn, you realize that you'll be able to grow to higher levels, your house will be able to grow to higher levels, and your content will be able to be accepted in the market.
All right. And what resources would you recommend, you know, for individuals in order for them to stay ahead of the curve in this dynamic environment?
The resources you need. Of course, you need capital. You can't start any business without capital. Yeah, the working capital. If you go in any venture, have the working capital. Then from the working capital, you can be able now to foresee is that Is it making returns? Is the returns coming? Then you can, if the returns come, then you can reinvest part of the returns as you grow the business over time, and over time. Yes.
All right, finally, what is the final piece of advice or key takeaways that you would like to share with our viewers, our audiences who might be interested into venturing in the world of online business and investments?
If you, to my viewers, is that it's one of the most paying deals currently. And what I can be able to advise you, if you want to go for any online business, number one, identify a good platform of payment so that you don't go at a loss. Second thing, be aware of the risks, and one of the greatest risks that's affecting the people who are doing online marketing is the cyber security risk, the hacking. That's what people can know it, the hacking, the cyber security.
Yes.
That's a risk that you are supposed also to get, to be able to know. And also another thing, you must also be aware of the risks involved. Maybe you can supply a product, selling the product, maybe the return. Maybe you sell a product to the customer and the customer returns, maybe is not satisfied with the product. How fast are you going to expedite the refunds of the amount the client will pay? Because the customer here is at the center points. So those are some of the factors that you are supposed also to consider. And above all, be technology savvy. Understand how technology works so that somebody else cannot be able to use your brand name, cannot be able to use maybe what you are using and be able to copy paste at your expense, and you are the person who came up with the idea. So those are some of the things you are supposed to consider before you venture into any hustle, before you venture into any online content. And if you can be able to work in those areas, then trust me, is that in due time we'll be seeing your name on these platforms, and you'll be able to see your content like the big players like Amazon, the Amazon, the eBay, among others.
Yeah. Wow, that is really inspiring, because considering the fact that you have to understand what it comes with when you're trying to do online business, pengine it's the challenges that you might face and how you can actually maneuver through them, because as the day goes by, people are trying to embrace the online businesses. And just to, the final question, with the current trends and everybody trying to go into the online spaces, what do you think the future looks like for those people who are trying to, being spontaneous there, both in the online spaces and also in the local spaces?
The world is going digital. Online is the future.
Yeah.
Technology is the future. In this aspect, you don't need any shop, you don't need any warehouse. You don't need you just need maybe your laptop, your computer, so that you can be able to market your wares. So where we are going, the earlier we embrace it, the better.
All right.
But if we can be able to bury our heads in the sands and think that now I'll be hawking my products, my brother, my sister, it's just in due time. It's in due time. A practical example is that there's a time that whereby we could only board taxis, or taxis, you can go and maybe call a taxi to come and pick you. But nowadays taxis are out in the market, because nowadays things like Uber came in, whereby I can sit in my house, request for a taxi, comes, picks me, goes away. So the people who refuse to embrace that, the taxi people say that they can never go there. They want to wait the customers at the stage. At the moment, they hate to change. Change forced them to change. So one thing we must be able to do is that let us not wait for change to change us, but let us change with the times.
All right. And what is your comment on the issue of taxing online creatives and online businesses?
The government is looking for revenue in all areas. And one thing I can be able to tell you is that we are supposed to pay tax. Everybody pays tax. And to be on the safe side of the law, the only thing I can advise you, start filing your returns. This is a month of filing returns. File your returns, declare your returns. You'll be on the safe side of the law. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and you'll be good to go.
All right. Thank you so much for that insight. And I believe that as an entrepreneur or someone who is looking into, starting off your business, this conversation has been helpful to you so that you can be able to understand what is already in the market and how you can be able to, merge with it and try to be creative in your own way and also be authentic to yourself and also try to make a living out of that, or just pursue your passion based on the digital realm that we are already in. Thank you so much, Benson, for coming. We really appreciate your time and the insights that you share with us. All right, and you, my viewer, I hope that has been really helpful. Until next time, this has been Business Monday, and the show is The Sunrise. Our guest has been Benson Osino, and my name is Jedida Chepkosgei.